Starting a company, startup, in a new market, with new technology, never been there hardware, competing with the big players. Sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it? But also, once you're in there, it's really, really scary. Still, pretty much 10 years ago from now, 3 of my co-founders and I made exactly this decision. We saw one of the first marketing videos of Microsoft HoloLens at that time. And tech nerds, which we were, it seemed all our dreams were coming true. Working with holograms, the lives out of Star Wars and Star Trek, just one device away from us. And after hours and evenings full of brainstormings and discussions, we had a plan. We wanted to be part of that. How this exactly would look like for us, luckily we didn't know what we were up to. Because to be honest, this journey was not for the faint-hearted. But step back, who were we at that time? You could think, ambitious idea, big dreams. We were software developers, managers, serial entrepreneurs. We were students. We were master students, 3 of us studying physics, 1 studying economics. Our knowledge about how to start and run a company, not really existing. But we decided to jump and to learn how to fly while we were falling. And let me tell you, we fell a lot of times. 2 of these times I want to share with you today and what we learned out of these experiences about resilience. The first one was already in 2019. We have been around for 4 years. We have managed to get our hands on hardware. We managed to survive setbacks out of economics. We managed to get the strong team. We had a good product already at that time. We even had paying customers. How amazing was that? We managed to onboard a financial investor. Everything was great. We knew we were on the path to success. Nothing could stop us. Well, you can guess. We had an investor. We were far from being cash flow positive. So we needed more investment money. And as usual, we needed a new investor for the new round. So the 4 of us, months after months, we talked to investment managers, associates, everybody we could get on the phone, basically, asking for introductions, feedbacks, recommendations, you name it. At some point, I think I was dreaming of that pitch already. Probably I was already pitching in my sleep. Poor husband, I know. But after months and months, we had 2 investors in our pipeline. Months of conversations, 2 investors. Not really the good equation, but unfortunately normal in the startup life. But these 2 looked really promising. So we went on. We made meeting after meeting, call after call, explained business plans, strategy, formulas, technology, everything. And the first one gave us feedback on a late Friday afternoon. It was just a short call. We were too late. We were way too far from their investment criteria. No investment from them. Yeah. Friday afternoon, amazing feedback. What are you going to do with that? You can't do anything. It's Friday evening. Everybody's on the weekend. So the 4 of us, we basically ended up at the next McDonald's. Some burgers, some fries, couple of hours feeling sorry for ourselves later, we agreed there were 2 options. First, the last investor in the pipeline simply had to work out. Or second, we needed a miracle. Every other option would mean the loss of our vision, our team, and everything we had built in the previous years. So we went home, went to bed, enjoyed our weekends as far as possible, and on Monday, with some fresh energy, after some sleep, we continued to work on. And we got so close to the investment already. But as said, it was months. So our runway was not really existing anymore, so we barely had 1 month left of runway. We founders waived our salaries already several times at that time, delayed payments, played every trick in the book just to keep going. But one pitch was missing. One time, our investment manager had to pitch in front of their investment committee for the final go. As always, this was supposed to happen on a Friday. I know, we have a serious issue with Fridays in that company. But we were confident. Everything was supposed to work out. They knew us, they knew our technology. It should be an easy go. Friday afternoon came, the four of us were sitting in the meeting room. Our team, one by one, left into the weekend. We didn't dare to go home. Basically, all the four of us were staring at the phone in the middle of the meeting table. We didn't want to call him. We didn't want to seem desperate. We were confident at all. Nearly bankrupt, but confident. At 6:30 p.m., we finally agreed. We were the last ones in the office. It got dark outside. We needed to call him. When he finally picked up the phone, he sounded exhausted, drunk, but not that happy, I just made an amazing deal drunk. He sounded destroyed. And he only asked us one thing: are you currently hiring? We won't invest, but I just got fired. 100% not what we wanted to hear in that moment. I don't know how long we sat there in silence. We probably stared at an empty meeting table for half an hour. It was until one of my colleagues basically got up, walked to the kitchen, grabbed a board game, I don't remember which one it was, a couple of drinks out of the fridge, and we played until midnight. We didn't talk, didn't do anything else. We just played a simple board game. Went home, decided that's a problem for Monday morning. On Monday morning, short sync, it was easy, we needed a miracle. But in the end, we're still responsible, so we needed to somehow figure out how this miracle would look like. So we started to call people, asking for their understanding, asking for time, explaining we couldn't pay invoices, paying rent. One of the first we called was our landlord. And we thought, oh my God, he's an experienced entrepreneur. He will think we're completely crazy and we don't have a plan. He was incredibly understanding. And he introduced us to a friend who was investing in startups. And as I'm staying here, you can guess, he invested. Within, I think, one of the shortest time frames we have ever seen for an investment. And it was at the very last second. There were delayed payments, salaries. We were basically on the edge of life, but we survived. And it was all because we were just honest to our landlord and said, hey, bank account says this number, your invoice says this, not working. And it worked out. This investor is still on board with us and part of our journey. After this, we thought, come on, what else can us stop now? We are invisible. We can do anything. Yeah, nothing at that point could have prepared us what would happen in January 2023. At this point, company has grown even more. We had survived the pandemic. What else could go wrong? We had more customers, a bigger team, good investors. Everything looked good. Things were going upwards. And as always, it was a Friday. Some of us had taken a day off just to get a fresh mind, play a few rounds of airsoft together, and just, take a day off. As always, we have brought our phones with us. Not on the play field, but we brought it to the shed, so where we usually rested and prepared for the games, just in case anybody needed us. It was pretty cold, so we took quite some breaks to warm up in between. And at one point, we got back to the shed, and everybody of us had several calls from our team member in the office on their phones. Yeah, probably something went wrong, maybe something in the kitchen, whatever. So we called her, and she only said, yeah, there was some kind of emergency, she doesn't know more, but we need to call the father of Filippo. Filippo at that time was one of our longest team members and was at a family vacation in China. We knew probably there wouldn't be good news waiting for us, but Filippo, after all, he had a talent. He always ended up in the weirdest situations where he needed support from us, and they always made some really good stories afterwards. So probably stolen hardware, lost passport, maybe even legal trouble, cancelled flights. Something weird was probably going on. In the end, it was Filippo. We knew him. So 2 of my colleagues took the phone, walked out of the shed to call him. We were just chatting in between, and when they came in, we all fell silent within a second. Something was wrong, and they only said one sentence: Filippo's dead. We were shocked. We were in complete disbelief, sitting in the freezing cold, and it was just like, he should be dead? He wasn't just a team member. He felt more like family to us. We shared so many memories, crazy and fun stories, which would fill a book on themselves. We helped him moving across Germany. We did so many crazy things together. And The Last of Us just chatted 2 days ago with him on a messenger about some company updates, some family stuff, and his dislike about sandy beaches. But he should be dead now? It couldn't be true. But it was. We sat there, freezing, staring into the empty room, until one of my colleagues pushed us to get up. And we agreed there wasn't much playing left today. None of us was in the mood anymore. So we packed our stuff, changed back into normal gear, went, as always, to the closest McDonald's to warm up, talk, chat, talk about Filippo, what might have happened, share some weird stories we had with him. And after crying, laughing, and quite some weird looks from other people in the restaurant, when it got dark outside, we all gathered the strength to go home. On Monday morning, we had the bad task to update all of our team members about what happened. So we talked to them, talked to former colleagues who worked with him closely, and tried to keep everybody on board and tried to have as many one-on-ones as possible so everybody would be at least okay. And when the time came, we arranged a bus trip to Italy so everybody could go to the funeral and say goodbye. And it was moving. We didn't understand much, it was Italian, but it was moving, but it just didn't feel right for us. And on the bus trip home, we all agreed that was not the goodbye we wanted to give him. So a week later would have been his birthday, conveniently falling on Carnival. So instead of Carnival, we celebrated Filippo with his favorite coffee, his favorite whiskey, some food, lots of stories. And after hours and hours of drinking and talking, everybody in our team came to the same conclusion. There was only one thing we could do. He believed in HoloLight. He believed in us. We needed to prove him right. We needed to make HoloLight the success he always wanted it to be, to make his part, his story, part of something really, really big. This way, even the loss of a team member who was family for us tied our team together and motivated us even more to fight for our success. And if you would ask me now, what does this mean for resilience? What am I supposed to remember from today from you? Except Filippo obviously was an amazing guy, which he was. I would tell you 2 things. Resilience, in the first, is not always about immediately fighting back. In some situations, you can't do anything. The best thing is sometimes to take that step back, regroup with your team, with your friends, gather some strength, maybe have some burgers, laugh or cry about the absurdity of your situation, feel sorry for yourself. And the next day you get up and you tackle the situation from the beginning with fresh energy. And second, even more important, if you start a company, a startup, an initiative, a group, it starts with the vision of one person or a couple of people. But after a while, it becomes so much more. Your vision will be a part of the life story of each of your team members, of each of your supporters. And that is something you must always remember. Because this is something, looking back, which will always give you the strength to fight for and to tackle every challenge, even in your hardest time. Thank you very much.